My name is Roland Moore and I'm going to demonstrate the CRMAddins Projects, Timesheets and Expense Management for Microsoft Dynamics CRM. We can access the Projects module for Microsoft Dynamics CRM from two places. From within the Extensions area here, where we can see Projects, Sub-Projects, Project Tasks, Timesheets and Expenses, and of course through any client files that we've got a project set up for. What we will do is just go through and look up a particular account record that we've set a project up for, and that will allow us to see how the project is structured. Let's go through and find our company that has the project set up. Once we've opened the record, we'll see an additional item in the menu called Projects. Click on that and we can see all the projects that we've set up for that client. We then drill down into the project itself, we get some more information, and here we get the top level information about the project and the detail of it, the options of filling out some description information, the primary contact, who the project leader is, who the team members are and the current project status. Project value is automatically added up as we go through and build up our sub-projects and project tasks. A tab for some basic billing information that we recorded that we want this to be billed, what the billing rate is, and if there's any prepaid amount. And quite importantly, we have a tracking area here. This allows us to keep a very close watch on the number of hours that we've utilized within a project, and to actually set a notification point at which this particular person, who is the project leader or project manager, would get notified that we only have 10 hours remaining on the project, and that this is really an early warning to make sure the project's running on track. We have the same option here where we can actually manage our costs, and if our costs exceed the estimate, again we can have a notification coming through to someone within the project or any other CRM user if we want to. Projects are set up of tasks, and what we'll do, we'll look at the top level task here and then drill down into some sub-project areas for this particular project. So here we have some tasks overall, adding users and various steps that go through, pretty much like we'd expect to see with any project management module. We have the top level project, and then we have stages within that, which is where the sub-projects come in, and then within each project stage we have some specific activities that have to take place. As we go through each of these, and we'll look at this one first, these particular project tasks, we then start recording the amount of time that's been spent. That's done through timesheets. Any expenses that are incurred whilst we've been carrying out this particular project task can be recorded as well. Also within each particular project task we can have the same tracking information that we want to see as well. So we can actually be monitoring down to a very discrete level if we want to, how long each particular task is taking, and actually get notifications as tasks are nearing the time that we would expect them to be completed in. We now save and close this, and we go back up and have a look at a sub-project. Here we have a sub-project set up for this particular project. Here we have a look at the installation. Within this, again, we have almost a very good description here about how much the sub-project value is, and this is where at the top level our project values are calculated from. Again, we have our billing information, tracking information, and our project tasks. So here we can see we've got some that are open, have our base configuration, and as we go through and complete these, we'll be doing two things. We'll be logging our timesheets, how long it actually took us to complete this particular task, so when it actually took place, any description that we want to have going through it, how many hours or prepaid or overtime hours we've actually used, and then we have a calculation that goes through, actually tells us if we have any time entries for the activity and the date that we've got here. So we can actually see maybe if we've got 2 or 3 people working on this and they're logging timesheets all at the same time, we'll be able to see all of those timesheets coming through being reported against that particular activity. Once they've all been done, we then start seeing information like this, so that we spent 2 hours on the CRM based configuration. What we'd then have in the background is the processes go through and they start populating the tracking information. We also have the option, for example, of creating expense records. So we've actually had to have some expenditure related to this particular activity. Here we can see that we've had to buy some parts and we've had to do some travel. Just open one of these up very quickly. The expense process is not just a recording, it also allows us to do a little bit more than that. We have a defined approval procedure. So this expense has not yet been submitted. If we submit it, what then happens is, according to the configuration that we have, that's set up by the interface ready for each user, deployment, we then have a notification going through that there's an expense pending, waiting approval. That expense can be approved or declined, and then, based upon the needs of your organization, we could have that information being passed on or reconciled down into a report as you need it to have for further processing. Most of the configuration for the module is taken care of within the settings. Again, fairly standard CRM type activities. When we have everything, it's all, as you can see, the same look and feel as a standard CRM environment with no real changes there. And here we have our expense setup, which goes through the approval process and shows us how we can go through and trigger the approval and submission of expenses through the stages that we might want to have. Here we have our expenses set up. Essentially we have our process of submission, the information that's passed back between the parties that are involved in it. We also have a number of standard reports. Reports are here. These are the reports that come standard with the implementation. We'll just have a look at a few of them. Here we have the projects by client detail, so it gives us all the activities that have been going on within a particular project, where we have the primary contact shown here, what the project is, and the elements of the project underneath there. Here we have the tasks by employee. So this employee has actually been doing all the work, so we have the tasks that they've been doing this week, so we can actually see how many hours they've been working on projects. Here we have the just projects by client, so we just have the particular project at the top level. We don't have the details. We have a detail report that we saw earlier, and then we just have a very top level report here for each client. Here we have the timesheets by client, so we can actually be going through and seeing what timesheets we're building up for each client's projects. Then we have timesheets by employee, so we can actually see by period which particular tasks they're doing, and then the number of hours they've actually been spent on those particular project activities. And then here we have a weekly timesheet by project, so we have the particular project here, and then we have all of the activities down week by week of the activities that have been going on and the time that's been taken for them. That's a very quick overview of the project timesheet and expense management module for Microsoft Dynamics CRM. If you have any requirements for information, please feel free to contact us. Contact details are here. And last, I'd like to thank you for your time.